In a twist of fate, a humble and hardworking black man, Samuel, faces severe humiliation from a racist and arrogant farm manager, Mr. Johnson, when he seeks employment. Despite the adversity, Samuel's determination leads him to success, and he returns to confront his past in a way that brings a powerful lesson to his former oppressor. Samuel knew that life in the countryside was tough, but he never imagined the level of humiliation he would face from a racist and arrogant farm manager when seeking work. What the manager, Mr. Johnson, couldn't foresee was that the world would turn, and 10 years later, Samuel would return to the same farm, bringing a life lesson that would make Mr. Johnson deeply regret his actions. Samuel was a humble man of black origin, born and raised in a small village in the interior of Rio Grande do Sul. Life had never been easy for him. He lost his father at the age of 17 to a sudden illness and was forced to abandon his studies to help support his family. Since then, Samuel worked tirelessly to ensure that his mother, Mrs. Maria, had the minimum necessary to live. They lived in a modest wooden house with a leaky roof and walls worn by time. Despite the hardships, Samuel had an unwavering spirit and an unshakable hope for a better future. His mother, a strong and resilient woman, always taught him the importance of hard work and honesty. No matter how tough life gets, Samuel, always be fair and honest. The rest will come with time, she used to say. These words echoed in his mind, guiding his actions and decisions. At 22, with little education or experience, Samuel found himself at a crossroads. The work he could find in the village was not enough to improve their living conditions, and he felt trapped in a cycle of poverty. Wearing old sandals, worn jean shorts, and a tattered shirt, he decided to seek work on farms in the region. His goal was to find a job that could somehow change his life and provide a dignified life for his mother. Samuel's journey along dirt roads was solitary and arduous. He walked from farm to farm, facing sun and rain, with a determination that only grew with each rejection. At each farm he visited, Samuel humbly offered his services, cleaning yards, tending gardens, doing small repairs, anything that could ensure a little money to take home. It was a hot afternoon when Samuel arrived at Boa Vista Farm, known for its vast land and high-quality cattle. The farm's main house was imposing, with its large colonial-style house surrounded by lush trees and well-kept gardens. With his heart pounding, Samuel approached the porch where the manager, a robust man with a stern face, was seated. "What do you want here?" asked the manager, Mr. Johnson, rising and descending the porch steps with firm strides. The disdain in his voice was evident. Mr. Johnson looked at Samuel with distrust, thinking that the simple, poorly dressed man might be there to steal food or beg for alms. Another tramp looking for trouble, he thought. Samuel, humble and nervous, took off his straw hat, twisting it in his hands. "Good afternoon, sir. My name is Samuel. I am looking for work. I can do anything you need, cleaning, maintenance, anything," he said with a trembling but hopeful voice. The manager, with a cynical smile, crossed his arms. "We don't hire just anyone here. You need qualifications to work on our farm. What do you know how to do, after all?" Samuel took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "Sir, I am a yard worker. I can take care of gardens, clean, repair fences, take care of animals. I do a bit of everything." "A yard worker, huh?" Mr. Johnson let out a sarcastic laugh. "Boy, we don't hire people to sweep yards here. We need people with education and real experience. Go get some education, a degree, some real experience," he said, shaking his head in disapproval. The harsh words hit Samuel like a punch in the stomach. He felt humiliated, a solitary tear rolling down his cheek as he turned to leave. At that moment, Samuel made a promise to himself. He would never be treated that way again. He would turn his life around and prove his worth. Determined to change his life, Samuel went to the city. He walked the streets, going from door to door, trying to find work. He stopped at various stores, markets, and even smaller farms, but always received a no. People looked at his worn clothes and calloused hands and judged him incapable. "Sorry, but we are not hiring," they would say, avoiding eye contact. Samuel began to lose hope, but his determination prevented him from giving up. Tired and disheartened, he saw a small auto-electric shop on the city's outskirts. It was a busy place, with trucks and cars constantly coming and going. The smell of oil and burnt metal filled the air. Samuel approached the counter, where a middle-aged man with graying hair and grease-stained hands attended to customers. "Good afternoon, sir. I am looking for work," said Samuel with his usual humility. The man looked him up and down. "What do you know how to do, boy?" "I am a yard worker, but I learn fast. I can help with whatever you need," Samuel replied, hopeful. The shop owner, Mr. Carlos, scratched his chin thoughtfully. "Well, we need someone to help with cleaning and organizing the tools. Can you start today?" Samuel smiled, relieved. "Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity." Thus, Samuel began his new journey at the auto-electric shop. Initially, he cleaned the floors and organized the tools, but his curiosity and willingness to learn soon caught Mr. Carlos's attention. He watched the mechanics work closely, asking about the parts and the vehicle's workings. His effort and dedication did not go unnoticed. "Samuel, you seem to have a knack for this," said Mr. Carlos one day, while showing him how to repair an alternator. "I will teach you everything I know." And so he did. Carlos taught him every detail he knew, things he had never shared with anyone. He saw the effort and the sparkle in Samuel's eyes with each lesson. Samuel learned quickly and showed great dedication. In a short time, he assimilated knowledge that others took years to acquire. As the years passed, Samuel became an expert in auto-electric work. His talent and work ethic earned him respect and recognition. Then he decided to open his own shop. Working tirelessly, Samuel turned his small business into one of the most sought-after auto-electric shops in the region. He not only repaired vehicles but also treated each customer with respect and humility, always remembering the lessons he had learned along the way. Now, at 32 years old, Samuel had achieved the success he had always desired. With his auto-electric shop well established and the business prospering, Samuel allowed himself to dream again of his rural roots. He always had a special affection for country life, and now, with his stable financial situation, he decided it was time to fulfill this dream. Samuel began exploring farms for sale in the region, looking for a place that would not only meet his needs but also bring him the peace and satisfaction he so desired. After a week of hard work, Samuel drove his pickup truck along dirt roads surrounded by vast green fields and wooden fences. Dust rose around him as he looked around, observing each property with a keen eye. At each farm he visited, he examined the land, the infrastructure, and talked to the realtors, but nothing seemed to be exactly what he was looking for. Still, guided by his determined spirit, Samuel continued driving his pickup along various dirt roads, visiting several farms, and asking local residents about properties for sale. In a small village, he stopped at a roadside shop to have coffee and chat with the locals. "Do you know of any farms for sale around here?" Samuel asked the attendant while picking up his coffee. "Well, I think there is Boa Vista Farm," the man replied, scratching his head. "I heard the owner is thinking of selling it. It's about 10 kilometers from here. Just keep going straight until you see the entrance." Samuel thanked him and returned to his pickup, following the instructions. As he approached the entrance to the indicated farm, a mix of anxiety and nostalgia took over him. His heart pounded when he recognized the rusty iron gate. It was the same farm where, 10 years earlier, he had faced the humiliation that would change his life. Surprised by the coincidence, Samuel stopped the pickup and contemplated the entrance for a moment. The memory of that painful afternoon came back with force. He felt a wave of emotions, but also a sense of closure. Decided not to let the past dominate him, he took a deep breath and entered the property, driving up to the farmhouse. Samuel found the owner, an elderly man, sitting on the porch. "Good morning, sir. I heard that Boa Vista Farm is for sale," said Samuel, trying to keep his voice steady despite the inner turmoil. The owner got up and approached, a friendly expression on his face. "Good morning, young man. Yes, I am thinking of selling. Times have changed, and I no longer have the same disposition as before to take care of everything around here. We can talk if you're interested." Samuel nodded, and the two sat down to discuss the sale details. The farm was large, with fertile lands and suitable facilities for livestock. Samuel felt he was in the right place and decided to go ahead with the purchase. They negotiated the price, and Samuel ensured that the agreement included the condition of keeping the sale a secret, especially from the manager. Does this farm have a manager? A man who has worked here for many years. He is a bit older, of robust appearance? Samuel asked, trying not to reveal his anxiety. Yes, the owner replied, tilting his head in curiosity. He has been with us for over 15 years, always taking care of operations. A dedicated man, I must say. Samuel took a deep breath. The fact that the manager was still at the farm only made his mission more significant. After we finish signing all the papers, I would like to talk to the employees, but without the manager present. I want to surprise him, and please ask everyone not to mention anything about the sale until I am ready to reveal it. The owner, still a bit confused but respecting Samuel's request, agreed. As you wish. We will keep this between us and the employees. With all the documents signed, Samuel became the new owner of Boa Vista Farm. He was determined to keep the secret from the manager, creating an atmosphere of anticipation among the workers. He felt a mix of anxiety and excitement as he prepared for the next step. After finalizing the purchase, Samuel gathered the farm's employees, except for the manager. The workers, surprised and curious about the manager's absence from the meeting, looked at Samuel expectantly. He carefully explained the situation. Good morning, everyone. My name is Samuel, and I am the new owner of Boa Vista Farm. I just acquired the farm and need to ask a favor from you. I want to keep this information secret, especially from the manager, for now. 10 years ago, he helped me a lot, so now I want to surprise him. The employees, although surprised, agreed to the request. There was an air of mystery and anticipation, but also respect for the new owner, who seemed genuinely concerned about everyone. Samuel thanked the employees for their understanding, and with everything organized, he began to plan his surprise. The next day, he dressed simply, remembering his humble times, and returned to the farm. To avoid arousing the manager's suspicion, Samuel left his pickup parked at a safe distance from the farmhouse and walked the rest of the way. He was anxious to confront the manager, not for revenge, but to show how much life had changed and what he had achieved. Upon arriving at the farmhouse, he saw the manager, now older and tired, supervising the farm's work. "Good morning, sir," Samuel said, disguising his voice. "I am looking for work. I need any job you have here. My family and I are in need." The manager, focused on his tasks, looked up with disdain, but a shadow of recognition crossed his face. He narrowed his eyes, examining Samuel more closely. "You seem familiar. You've been here before, haven't you?" he asked with a look of doubt and irritation. "Aren't you that guy who came here years ago asking for a yard worker job?" Samuel nodded slowly, keeping his gaze steady. "Yes, sir. I am the same. And now, do you have any job available for me?" The manager snorted, visibly irritated. "So it's you. How dare you come back here after all this time, dressed in those rags? It seems that all these years have passed, and you are still the same, or maybe even worse. I told you before and I tell you again, go get some education instead of wandering around looking for favors." Samuel, feeling a familiar mix of pain and determination, raised his head and looked at the manager firmly. "With all due respect, sir, I think the one who should be ashamed is you. No one should be treated that way. Everyone deserves respect regardless of their financial condition or appearance. Not everyone can afford a good education and a degree, but that does not mean anything. I have seen many smart folks around who are smarter than some doctors with diplomas." The manager, taken aback by the direct response, stepped back a bit but became even more irritated with Samuel's audacity. "Who do you think you are, boy, to talk to me like that? You come here in these tattered clothes, wanting me to fit you in any job, and still have the nerve to speak to me this way? Get out of my sight before I throw you out." Samuel remained calm, his gaze intense and defiant. "Mr. Manager, I am sorry, but I am not leaving here. The land you are standing on now belongs to me." The manager laughed with disdain, shaking his head. "You are not only poor but also crazy. It's good that I didn't give you a chance here. You would probably be a big troublemaker for us." Samuel took a step forward, his voice firm and full of conviction. "The only troublemaker here is you with your arrogance. Know now, Mr. Manager, that I am your boss, and you are the one working for me." The manager froze, his laughter disappearing instantly. "My boss? What do you mean? You must be crazy. The farm was not sold." "Yes, it was," Samuel replied, a subtle smile on his lips. "I bought it yesterday and asked everyone to keep it a secret because I wanted to surprise you. 10 years ago, you despised me, but today I thank you for that. If you had accepted me here, I might still be just a yard worker. But thanks to you, I left here and found a good job in the city. There, I worked hard and learned a lot. In time, I managed to open my own auto electric shop, and today my business is one of the most renowned in the region. With dignity and respect, I climbed the ladder, and today I am a very successful man." The manager, stunned, slowly shook his head, processing Samuel's words. "How is that possible? It can't be." "It's true," Samuel continued, his voice filled with emotion. "The world turns. And know that I came here not for revenge, but to say that I forgive you. Everyone deserves a second chance, and I will give you yours. I am your boss now, but I will let you continue working here on my farm. However, I want you never to despise anyone here again. Respect will prevail regardless of each one's financial condition. And if one day a young man comes here looking for work, please treat him well." The manager, listening silently, felt an overwhelming wave of shame. "I am very sorry," he said, his eyes filled with tears and his face tinged with embarrassment. He lowered his head, unable to even look back. The manager apologized again and walked away, leaving Samuel and the farm workers behind. Although Samuel had given him a second chance, the shame and regret were too strong for him to continue working there. He left, carrying with him a lesson he would never forget. Never underestimate anyone. One day you are up, and the next, you could be down.